Welcome, everybody, to the Onward VR Master League Season 12, Week 3. My name is Nightfire with 2 E's. I am joined by my co-caster 1UC, Luke. How are you doing today, Luke?
Man, I am doing phenomenal. I am so excited to see these two teams play Blackwatch Entity. I mean, a bit of a rivalry for sure.
Yeah.
You know, they've played each other twice before, and well, I mean, Entity's taken the cake, but also we get a celebrity. I do believe Fitz, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
the one.
So, the mod.
Yep.
The mod.
A fan favorite, if you will, in the community as one of our mods in the mod team. And yeah, this matchup is going to be super exciting. Blackwatch is a team that has been around since Season 10, so they've had time to develop. Season 10 was a pretty long season. There's been a big gap between 10 and 11, so again, more time to develop. Season 11, so that means that they played throughout all of that time. So 10 and 11 is a lot of time to be playing the game, so they should be coming in with some good experience strategies, and they're going to need them to go up against Entity, because Entity's been around since Season 7, even longer. You know, the experience usually perseveres. You know, to that end, we've seen a lot of new teams come in Seasons 10 and 11 and prove to be formidable opponents to top squads. And so I'm not counting any new squads that come in out ever, but you know, it's like any team game, right, Luke? The more you play together, the more you hone in as a squad, the better you ultimately are and can perform.
It really is. I mean, and the one thing, regardless of the game, regardless of what you're doing, is just chemistry, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
You just can't fake it. You know,
Yep.
You have to truly get to know each other, how you play, you know, how you communicate, more importantly, and how you think. I mean,
Yeah.
especially in these sorts of games, you know, especially in Onward, you know, getting that familiarity with how each other communicates, and in moments where maybe you can't communicate, maybe you're too far away, you know, or you don't have enough time, or you know, whatever the case may be. Knowing what you think the other person will do and getting it right, and reacting accordingly, whether it's repositioning, whether it's, you know, going for the tight slice of an angle as opposed to the wide peak.
Yep.
Maybe it's, you know, playing off of your teammate. Maybe they can't talk right now. You know, whatever the case may be, really understanding that and getting that together. So it certainly does help, but it can certainly go either way, even though Entity has come up on top of the last two matchups.
Yeah, it's it'll be this is going to be a fun, exciting match. We're going to see some very good quality Onward delivered here today. Both of these teams, like we've been saying, have the experience. And for those that don't know, the format, if you are just tuning in here on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, or venues, is that Blackwatch is the home team, Entity is the away team. Blackwatch gets to ban first, Entity gets to ban second. There's a map pool that is available, and teams ban maps from that map pool to tighten up what's available to pick from, because now Blackwatch will go into the map pick phase where they get to choose the map for our first map, and it is going to be Quarantine. So we're going to start off with a little bit of that range out the gate, and looking at the ban, Subway and Sand off the table, I think we're in store for very likely a Snow Peak in this mix. You know, again, more range to go to for just off the indicators from these bans. Sand has changed significantly since Season 11, but it is still a close quarters map, and so we are very much setting ourselves up for a bit of a ranged battle, so to speak, between Blackwatch and Entity. And I mean, Quarantine is an exciting start, to say the least. One of my favorites, and I think there is over 13 potential objective spawns on this map, and so you only get 3-4 max in a series, in a map. You know, it really requires a lot of experience as a squad. Experience helps here.
It certainly doesn't hurt. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
At the end of the day, anything can happen, right? At the end of the day, it comes down to, you know, performing and knowing, again, what you choose to play, how you choose to move. But certainly, yeah, I mean, especially in these larger maps, as we saw before, as we saw on Wednesday. I mean, there's many successful strategies, you know, that teams can use. You know, some teams, you know, want to spread out. Some teams want to move in pairs. Some teams want to, you know, just kind of push through as two squads on, in the same place even, right?
Yep.
At the end of the day, it really comes down to, ingenuity in the heat of the moment, in the firefight, trying to figure out, okay, how can I reposition? How can I outthink? And how can I collect and win or defend, depending on which side you are, that objective.
Yeah, processing all the data that you're getting out on that battlefield and executing on it is certainly the test of a skilled player. We are waiting on the 5th of Entity to join. Hopefully they bring that in. There is an option to dip in to what we call the reservist pool. What that is it's a group of people that don't necessarily want to sign up for a team and be able and practice and kind of commit to that sort of scrimmage schedule, and really just be able to play when they're available. And so Entity may have to dip into the reservist pool if they can't get their 5th to join. And, Luke, we talk about the experience being an important element, how it helps you come together as a team. And if Entity is missing a 5th and has to rely on a substitute, that's definitely going to impact their ability to play as synced up and to play as 5.
Yeah. I mean, and that's where you want to maybe pull from your roster as well. I mean, Entity currently having 3, 6, 8 people on their roster, which I do believe is max. Yeah. So, I mean, use them. I mean,
I know,
if you are running late, I mean, that certainly is, but the reservist pool for sure as well. But I mean, I also have to say, I mean, both these teams, they're sure. I mean, Entity's currently ranked 46th. Blackwatch is currently ranked 15th. But I mean, these teams have been around the block.
Yeah.
They're experienced. They're high level. Blackwatch is Master. Entity is Diamond. I mean, I think we can certainly see either of these teams in Master by the end of the season, if not sooner. So, I mean, we're expecting, experience. And to that end is what I'm trying to get at is there's also plenty of community members. If you're new, you want to get some experience, you want to join that reservist pool, you play Onward, you're like, I don't know if I want to get my feet wet. First of all, dive in, man. Dive in, person, whoever you are. If you want to play Onward, you want to play in VRML, do it. I mean, there's no barrier to entry. There's bronze for a reason. It's learning. It's getting, finding some friends, seeing if you can get better, and hey, you'll find yourself up in Master, up in Diamond, not too far away. But on the flip side, there are also all those players that are experienced, that have been around the block, that have been together have been playing this game for many seasons, if not from the beginning of Onward, who also are in that reservist pool. So, there's so
Very
much
true.
experience around the board, and in VRML, I mean, it's for the community, from the community, driven by the community. So, if you're new, if you're saying, I don't know if I am good enough, if I know enough, yes, well, maybe you don't, but you can find somebody, you can find friends to learn more, to get better, to get to that level that you want to be together. And at the end of the day, that's what's beautiful about it. And that's what's beautiful about the community league, about, everyone playing, is that, we're here to get better together. So join a team, do it now. VRMasterleague.com/onward. We'd love to have you. And you know what? One more person at a time, makes it a better place and certainly helps the league grow.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen a bunch of new teams getting created in Season 12. It's been a lot of fun to pop in and catch those matches, see what the kind of skill level is. There's a wide range. There's new teams that are coming in that can contest up into the middle of the ladder, and new teams that are coming in that you can tell are still figuring out how the meta of the game, and really how to defend, how to communicate, what it really all means. And to that end, if you are no matter where you are in skill range, there's a lot of teams recruiting too. So yeah, definitely a time to get involved in the Onward VR Master League if you are interested. We'd recommend you go and check that out. We are still on hold here for the 5th from Entity. I'll see if I can get any updates on their 5th, if they are going to have to go with that sub, or if it's going to be someone that they can pull from their roster. And I do like to talk about that often, to your point, that it is very helpful to have that deep roster because of moments like these where you need to dip in to that extra 6th, 7th, 8th. And it takes a lot of work, really, to be a top level team and maintain that kind of roster. You have to practice those players with your core team. You have to make sure that you're rotating in the 6th, 7th, and 8th on that roster so that they're getting practice too. And when you do need them, in crucial moments or in big games, the week 3 where you're still trying to set your MMR, definitely an important matchup. you can dip into that pool and have someone that's a little bit more comfortable than, like we said, a reservist. But to your point, there are some good reservists too that do play well with any team. They just can kind of meld in. They know how to communicate. They know the call outs, and hopefully they can get a fifth. Otherwise, we are nearing time where they're going to have to start 4v5, which
not ideal.
No.
You know,
no.
I mean, just because, you know, Entity, you know, no disrespect to Blackwatch, but Entity, you know, having some pretty convincing victories last 2 times they have played in Season 11 and Season 10, you know, doesn't mean that streak will continue. I mean, this is Quarantine. This is the most played map, at least so far in Season 12, with 82 times played, next to Subway at 78. So, I mean, you know, it's a map everyone knows. So there is some advantage there. If someone is running late, you need to pull in a reservist. Maybe they're looking for that now.
Sure.
But, you know, nevertheless, you know, 4v5, not ideal. But, you know, Entity certainly is the lower rated team despite history, despite, you know, we're saying that, yeah, they've beat them twice before. I mean, every time's a new game, every time's a new team, every time's a new opportunity to win or lose. So, I mean, time will tell, certainly. But, I mean, Entity does have a very deep roster. So, I mean, I'm surprised, honestly, that they weren't able to pull someone as quickly.
Yeah. And, you know, hopefully they will fill that out. But otherwise, we are going to be beginning very soon. So thank you all for patiently waiting. If you are tuning in on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, or venues, we do really appreciate you. But, yeah, we are just hopefully a few minutes away from getting in to our first round. And, you know, to the point of it, here we go. 4v5s are not impossible. I have seen it done.
Not at all.
We've seen good starts with 4v5s, truly, and to the point, Entity also gets to defend. So they sort of have that, what some consider the Volk advantage out the gate here. As we do get into round number 1, into a 4v5, Entity having to take that disadvantage, and we'll see what we get.
It's funner if you get in trouble.
Yeah, we certainly shall. I mean, they seem to be going for a bit of a spread out. They're trying to get that one player maybe to catch off the rotations, but we saw this last time. You know, certainly a lower division on Wednesday. You know, certainly not Master and Diamond, but both teams really spreading out. So I'm surprised to see that on defense, but maybe they're trying to get that, you know, first movers advantage, so to speak, here, you know, coming into the 5v4.
Yeah, they've committed Valor up onto the roof, and to your point, they are pretty far away from objective. If they do lose control on the west, it could be bad news, but it is a powerful position to be up on top of that rooftop there and be able to fire down into the courtyard. You can shift back into the south and cover the south. You can also peek down the stairs out the window, and that window angle is very powerful. Super hard to shut down, very hard to land those shots through that. No. Out the gate. We're back to a 4v4. So Entity have even the odds with Lumpy catching a kill up in the north.
Yeah, great job from Lumpy. I mean, starting us off, but this action's not over. Valor tries to find the angle. Doesn't quite connect with anybody, unfortunately. But certainly, you know, it shows where people are. Cash Crazy now getting caught out from that angle. He's trying to see if they can find the repeak, but I don't think we are going to find Valor repeaking. I mean, that's what's so important, especially at this level. I mean, I expect to see everybody consistently rotating, consistently moving around, and to that end, I mean, Valor, they know Cash Crazy called him out, so now Note is moving in and trying to close in on his position.
Yeah, good utility nade up over the top would do some damage here. A frag to the roof could take out Magnus if they're not careful, if they're not going to tuck inside to that stairwell. And I don't believe that Noto is going to be no toe now. Oh geez, right, goes down, and they don't have any toes now as Valor blasts them off. 2 kills scooped up there, and Entity are off to a very powerful start. 4v5. They don't need their full squad. They've got enough here with these 4. Valor might find another. No, Welch finally shuts down a killing spree from Valor Magnus, and we're into a 3v2.
Yeah, I mean, Valor gets punished for effectively not rotating. I mean, you know, there's only so many places he can peek from, and he peeked from the right, so where's he going to go next? Probably the left, and, well, he got shut down for that one. But 3v2 is still winnable. Definitely don't count Blackwatch out, as we do have Jay Welch moving in low, trying to find a bit of a flank here. but that angle is getting watched by both Gunrama and Fitz is covering the other, but Jay Welch will get the advantage on Gunrama, and just like that, it's down to a 2v2. Well, it's a down, so he's not out, but can Fitz get the rotation is the question.
Yeah, Lumpy has moved up to this rooftop here and does have good coverage down into that courtyard. But Welch could be popping up. Fitz does get the revive. Welch is rotating back off. I think he's going to reconnect with Cash Crazy on the north, and they may try and make their entry from here, in which case Lumpy is going to potentially be at a disadvantage in a 2v1. They could also potentially catch Welch on this rotation, so there is a lot here at stake, depending on how Welch wants to rotate. There's a lot of time as well, 2:20 on the clock, and so Blackwatch has time. A smoke comes up, and that's an interesting choice, because now Lumpy's definitely keyed in to someone being over here.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Maybe it's a bit of a bait, expecting him to pick that, because just like that, Cash Crazy knocks him out of this world, and now there's a 2v2 again. As, well, maybe the smoke is doing its job. As Cash Crazy still not too bullish on peeking that corner, although absolutely no one is watching it.
Yeah.
But now, as I say that, of course, Fitz looks the other way.
And a great play there from Cash. To your point, I think that it was a definite bait. They are dialed into that other corner, waiting for the peek to come through and instantly punish on that peek. And so now, Blackwatch are moving into that pinch formation where Welch will come in from the south and Cash will come in from the north. And maybe Cash will even support from that roof, but I don't know. The roof doesn't have great vision down into where the objective is, and so I imagine Cash will eventually rotate out a bit more to that west side, especially since now, as well, Welch is beginning to push up. The smokes are out on the backside of objective.
Yeah, but it's the bait again. I mean, maybe wanting to make him look that way instead. Going through Fitz, in fact, looking at the other side of the smoke. Meanwhile, Welch gets in, but no, it's Gunrama, and he's watching it like a hawk, and just like that, it's a 2v1 entity. No way do they win round 1 4v5. I'm not jinxing it, don't worry, because it is Cash Crazy who has the crazy attempt to try to take this 2-on-1 still. No kills. Why can't I find Cash Crazy on the scoreboard? Where is he?
1-0 for them.
One kill to his name. I mean, a 3-0 would be absolutely phenomenal, as he is seemingly able to sneak up, but Gunrama probably hears his footsteps.
Yeah, most likely, and Fitz keyed in here too, and yeah, as soon as the peak comes, Fitz is there. Entity take around 4v5, and now they have their 5th. So, I mean...
Wow.
What it's almost like... Let's do this on purpose so that we can really get some momentum, because now we got 5, we got a 1-point lead. Look what we can do with 4. We're now at full power. Hangman has joined the squad there for Entity. Are they on the active roster? That is a curious question.
Hangman, yes.
Yes, they are. Okay, so dipping into their full roster, thankfully, and getting everybody here into the Entity squad, and starting off with a solid defensive hold. Like I said, the defense sort of has an advantage in a lot of senses. You really just have to defend your objective. You have to wait for the enemy to come to you. Some teams excel at at attacking. Some teams are very good at it. But at this sort of level, it's not out of... it's not unexpected to see a Volk round to see Volk trades here, and so we could be in store for that. We'll see what Entity goes with on the attack, how Blackwatch defends, but to the point, Blackwatch did almost come back as well. You know, they had some good picks. They managed to whittle down what was an advantage there for Entity, tied things up a little bit, and you know, we'll have to see what we get on this Blackwatch defense round. The first few rounds always... I'm hesitant to really determine what kind of series we're going to get. You know, they're still sort of feeling each
100%.
other out. How loose is everybody? How loose is the aim? There's so many factors to be determined in a game like this. And, well, what a start. As Entity hold on and we go back into the action, Luke. Round number 2 kicks off.
Yeah, round number 2, and, well...
If they back out, that's their fault.
That's a UI bug on my side. I see a 4v5, but I assume Hangman is here. They are. But there's only 4. There's only 4 in the server.
Yeah, interesting.
Interesting indeed. Okay. So, Entity doing a similar, well, not really at all, spreading out still, but spreading out seemingly in groups of twos, but a similar defensive style here, except with the one extra player on Blackwatch. It certainly gives that numbers advantage, and they certainly look like they want to take advantage of it. All being able to rotate, kind of depending on where they push through. But the question is, what is Entity going to do?
I'm still trying to figure out what happened here, because maybe Entity wasn't aware that they only had 4 readied up, but Blackwatch are aware. They knew that there was only 4 ready when they joined this lobby, and we're almost waiting for the reset, but it didn't come. And so now Blackwatch have an accurate kill count. Nomad just scooped one up on the west. And so they know that Entity are down into a 3v5 now right out the gate, and it's definitely a tough way to start. But a great start for the likes of Blackwatch, looking to bounce back from a defensive a round I'm sure they were hoping to win with that early 5-4 advantage.
Yeah, I'm sure they were, but great job from Nomad, as you say. I mean, getting up that early advantage. And, I mean, it's one thing to defend 5-on-4 because, I mean, you have to defend. You know where they're going to come typically, you know? But at the end of the day, I mean, Cash Crazy and Nomad are just doing work. Because just like that, it's a 5v2. And, I mean, Blackwatch are doing everything right here on defense, despite the, the strong round 1 from Entity.
Another pickup coming through on that.
Nomad, you only got the 1, right? I got 1.
That center rooftop there. A nice pickup from Cash. They may be able to scoop up Lumpy as well, but re-peeking, like we've discussed, is definitely a risky maneuver to be executing on. Peeking those same angles that you've just taken shots from oftentimes results in a death. But Lumpy is off the angle, and Valor is rotating all the way over to the south, so they may eventually run into Cash Crazy, as Cash is also holding that far south rotation. But it is going to be a bit of time, which they do have. 3.5 left on the clock, so a lot of time to work with.
Yeah, I mean, tons of time to work with, and I mean, that's not what you want if you're Entity, man. I mean,
no.
Entity, I mean, 2v1, yeah? Is it possible? Yeah? Is it likely? I mean, I would be impressed. I would be very impressed. I mean, everything is currently going in the favor of Blackwatch, but that's when you really have to think about that mental game, right? Right now, Blackwatch is thinking, oh man, I mean, it's a 5v2, we got this in the bag, we have to, but if you get too confident, then, I mean, it can certainly be a bit of overconfidence. But as I say that, though, Nomad is rotating around, trying to see lucky, but Jack Cash Crazy is, well, he's being insane this round. 3 kills to his name, and just like that, it's a 5v1. Dare I say it, but I mean, oh my goodness. Blackwatch almost trying to go for the perfect round.
A very solid bounce back from them off of a, again, tough start to the series, but they did have, again, that 4v5 advantage, hopefully for the last time, as there are 5 in, so strange. Lumpy finds 1, and you see they instantly rotate off. Nomad, however, is on the backside, and a nice little flank there. An aggressive push-up, a confident one at that. Sets Blackwatch up for a point, and they tie things up 1 apiece. And,
yeah, a really great job. A really great job. I mean, Nomad, we saw that flank come through, obviously X-ray vision, and he just was patient. He waited for Lumpy to make the first move, and that's exactly what you want to see from Blackwatch. They have the numbers advantage, no need to be aggressive. Zero need. Watch the angle. If they go for the rotate, he catches them off. They went for the rotate, he caught him off, and just like that, I mean, phenomenal job.
Yeah, an interesting start. And still, I don't think we have a concrete idea of where this series is going to be taking us in terms of what kind of back and forth we're going to be seeing. Are we going to see some cap attempts come through? I don't know. This next objective that we're headed to, certainly one that I have seen capped. The stairs pose a bit of a challenge. If smoked out, you can prone up close to that. I think you still have to go up over the edge of the stairwell to actually cap the code. But you can prone over near those stairs with a good smoke wall. You can tuck into the corner. You can prone up against the ledge. There are several different options to cap on this objective, and it makes it a little bit hectic when an offense is allowed to advance all the way up to this objective building. And so Blackwatch going to be hunting for that sort of opportunity, and Entity going to be trying to spread and search for this spawn. And it's going to be an interesting spawn for Blackwatch as we dive into the action here. They're going to have that north spawn, so they can really challenge Entity right out the gate if they choose to.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a choice, but they're going for a different attack here now that Blackwatch, well, they don't know yet.
Oh, yes, they do.
But the action's in quickly. No rest. Lumpy trying to find the angle, but not quite connecting there. As Jay Welch thinks he sees somebody. He certainly does, but still. Nobody's done for yet, but Jay Welch, not really too many options to rotate through. So if someone repeats him, he can find it. But no, it's going to be Catch Crazy, who's just absolutely popping off, getting down Lumpy when he repeaks. And, well, it doesn't matter that they started 5v5, and he's still starting the early days 4v5.
Yeah, a great pick and an over-aggressive rotation up there from Lumpy. Gunrama able to catch Cash Crazy out, and Welch taking some shots over from the far northeast corner as they're trying to draw the attention of this defense here. Valor in a bit of an off-meta spot, able to spot out the rotation from Brandon Jays. That was a long swing, and Valor just turned at the right time. They are also looking over in towards the center. You can see Nomad is dialing in onto the head of Valor, but doesn't take those shots. Valor then rotates back to the rooftop, and they are really wreaking havoc on this Blackwatch defense at these cargo crates. Jay Welch needs to pop up here and get rid of this threat from Valor, and that's exactly what they're going to do.
Yeah, great job from Jay Welch, and I mean that's what we need to see from Blackwatch. They want to keep up this momentum. They want to keep on getting rounds, and they're just playing the patient game. We saw it in the 5v2, and we're seeing it in the 5v5. I mean, that early rounds, sure, they don't matter as much. It's a long game, but I mean, it just certainly affects that mental game, especially if you accidentally didn't ready up. We didn't really talk about that too much. If they were expecting the 5v5 going into round 2, realized that they didn't, had to change their strategy, had to change their game plan, and effectively, changing the course of that round. I mean, that's not a good mental positive thing. That's not what you want to do to start a game, especially here, in Onward at this high level. Every round counts. It's early days. MMR can swing one way or the other very sharply, but nevertheless, I mean, we are moving through, and Nomad is trying to rotate. We saw lots of slow, quiet rotates from him in the previous round. We see it again here, trying to find Hangman, and if he moves through the right way, he very well might, but he still is a little bit of ways.
I think Fitz may have heard footsteps. I saw Fitz do a tablet check to make sure there wasn't a friendly over, I believe, in that area. And so I think Fitz may be keyed into the potential, especially with Noto now, who is actually going to be potentially rotating into that basement side. Oh, yeah, this could be a pickup, and it is going to be one. C4 detonated, the kill secured there. And now Fitz can actually rotate back up to this top floor since they've locked in their kill from the bottom and be a threat to Nomad, but they have to rotate as Nomad is here.
Nomad's ready. That's what I was going to say. I mean, it doesn't matter. Nomad just barely not seeing Hangman, but he will in a second. Yes, he does, but he doesn't get the initial kill. He's still not down. What? Oh, no. Nomad! You shot your shot too early. That's not what you want. And just like that, Hangman is aware of what's going on, but it doesn't matter. Nomad gets the pick, and just like that,
smokes.
It's a 3v2.
Smokes are out. Gunrama IDing the threat of Nomad. Nomad's got the tablet out, and Cash Crazy sending shots up over the top. Nomad dives out, but the kill coming in from Cash Crazy. What could have been 3-1 for Blackwatch is only 2-1. And that's exactly what I'm talking about with the threat there. I mean, you called it. Nomad going inside. They had the route. There is several routes that you can find to navigate to secure that objective, and man, it's a tough one to really hold on to. So, Entity certainly gave it a good effort. To your point, an early pick hurts them quite a bit, to lose one right out the gate, to set them back into the 4v5 right out the start definitely hurts. But I understand also the desire from Lumpy, hunting for those kills, definitely also looking for the early pick for their own team. So can't blame the aggressiveness, but it does cost them and nearly costs them 2 points. So fortunate enough that it is ultimately just a 1-point kill secured there for Blackwatch. We now go onto the defense for Blackwatch as we switch sides. Same objective. Again, for those that may not be in the know, we change objectives every 2 rounds, and so each team gets a chance at defending and attacking. It really is, again, one of my favorite things about Onward is just the variety. Onward provides such a varying experience at a competitive level, at any level, really. But when you get into it at a competitive level, there's so much nuance between map choices and everything that it's just so much fun. I think it's why it sells so much as an esport and why so many people love playing in the VRML, because it is just a good time to play competitively. You hear teams oftentimes singing, laughing, palling around at the start of rounds. I love casting. It's an all around a good time. So if you are having a good time watching and not playing, I recommend you do check out the game and get involved in the VRML. We're involved right now, Luke, as we get back into the action. Round number 4 kicking off. I did the math.
You did the math. I was about to double check. I was like, are you sure? Are you sure that's the right number? Well, you're right, at least this time. And
Yeah.
You're also right that we are going right back in the action. I mean, Fitz, watching this long angle, I mean, potentially could see a few different people peek out, namely Jay Welch, but he is underground. So, I mean, there are just a very standard defense. I mean, from what I've seen so far from Blackwatch, you know, they're not taking any risks. We've seen this discipline play all game. On Wednesday, last time we were live, I mean, it was all about the rotations, the dynamics. This time, it's about the patience. These players have the experience, but I mean, Lumpy, I mean, trying to find that long shot, that's a really long shot. Trying to find Brandon, and well, Brandon's in a bit of a pickle, but he probably will rotate out as he is watching a different angle.
Yeah, Brandon's holding a bit of a later commitment in the south. Really going to be waiting for Lumpy to potentially swing deep into the south and try and cross to the rock. I don't. It would be very risky for them to try and swing on this peak, because you do have Lumpy's position deep there, but also Hangman has taken up a spot up on top of that 2-story, and they can be a serious threat right now. They are actually waiting for truly anybody to peek, and Brandon doesn't need to. He also has Cash Crazy supporting that angle that they're hunting on the corner, and so really they just need to stay disciplined on their lines, like you're talking about, and well, find those rotations. Nomad scoops up one, and we tuned over to Gunrama. They had actually accidentally shot their gun, and you heard him radio, and I just gave away my position to the enemy. I accidentally shot my gun, and there you go. Nomad very much ready for Gunrama to swing out there and finds the kill.
Yeah, and Cash Crazy, I mean, Cash Crazy is insane
-1,
because
post office, south
Yeah, they are really.
just like that, it's 5-3 in numbers advantage for Blackwatch. Blackwatch hasn't had a single death in the last couple rounds. I mean, that's insane.
It's true.
And obviously, knock on wood if you are a Blackwatch fan, but I mean, that's just showing the discipline and the coordination that this squad is having. And maybe we can talk about how, you know, the 5th player that did show up for Entity, you know, not on the main roster, maybe not, you know, as experienced, having that chemistry playing together. I don't know.
Strong.
Yeah.
I mean, but all these kind of player dynamics,
left on that side.
especially, you know, come into these sorts of situations where you do need to reset. You do need to reset your mental game and really find momentum, because, I mean, 2-1, it looks like it very much can be a 3-1, but Entity certainly can turn it around. 3-5 is certainly not out of the woods just yet.
Yeah, they should have a good idea of Cash Crazy's position as they heard those shots, and Hangman's dialed in up onto that 3-story, especially after Cash finds Valor. Hangman's going to be aware of that position. The trouble is that Cash Crazy's position is also very far away from objective, and so if at any point there is a push here, it could be bad. Brandon
-1
doing their job, holding that late angle, catching out Hangman, and Entity pulled down to 1. And yeah, there's definitely needs to be a mental reset for the whole squad here after this round. I don't know if a timeout would do anything, but it is going to be 3-1 as Fitz crosses out in the open, and Noto now has the angle They'll find that kill alongside the shots from Cash Crazy. A ton of eyes on that final attacker. Blackwatch go up 3-1, and
Wow.
you know what was looking like a nice start for Entity, securing that defensive round with 4, is now looking like a not so good map 1 here. We have to remind ourselves, of course, this is Blackwatch's map pick. So
Right, of course. And that is really important. But
Yep.
to that end, I mean, these aren't close rounds so far.
no, the last 2
You
have
know?
not been.
Like the first round, yes, that was great from Entity. Congratulations are in order.
Yeah.
But these last couple rounds have not been close. No disrespect to Entity, but Blackwatch, we see these late game positions that they're holding from out of the gate. Like
Yeah.
they are not thinking short term. They are thinking the entire strategy through. They're maybe even counter-stratting Entity for all I know. But I mean, in these moments, I mean, you know, you certainly have been around the block in this game. I mean, what can you do? Is there a certain strat that you would recommend, or is it just a pause? Take your headset off, go get a glass of water, and come back.
Well, you know, the advantage in some cases of the variety of Onward is that you do have a reset, essentially, right now. They have a new objective in the center courtyard. This one in particular, definitely hard to cap and secure. In some ways, it's also hard to defend. The setting up in proper defensive positions can be a little bit tough as you try and cross out to them. But this is not going to be an easy Marsoc round for Blackwatch. Like I said in that last objective, that one's capable. That one you can do some damage on. But this one, I think, is going to be a bit different for Blackwatch. And so Entity could very much get around here. And that's how you kind of start to claw back. You know, you get your defensive round, you put one up on the board, you close the gap 3-2, and then you maybe think, how can we get a cap? What can we do to put it up 4-3? And so there's still like a quick comeback route here for the likes of Entity. And wow, fortunate to make that cross, because now they got one in the south to defend from a south rotation, which both Welch and Brandon were going to set up for.
Yeah, Welch almost catching off Gunrama, but instead Gunrama is going to go for the long flank. They do know that he is back there, but
Yeah.
I mean, they are committing also 2 eyeballs to it, so baiting on the numbers advantage at least for Entity, who is defending, so that's certainly not going to hurt. But on the other side of the coin, I mean, it's another, like, these two teams are definitely repeating similar strats on offense and defense, not too much dynamicism. Certainly maybe showing, you know, the experience. They know how to play it best, and, you know, they have the high position that Brandon's holding. But Jay Welch finally finds Gunrama, hunting him down, knowing he crossed, wanted him on the cross, and catch him, but got him on the back.
Oh.
Scratch one, OBJ.
And we're seeing a bit of an over-aggressive defense here from Entity that is getting them caught out. Lumpy also pretty far pushed up. Same with Valor, all trying to rotate into positions and getting caught by this Blackwatch offense. Entity is down to 2, and it just got called out. So they have an accurate kill count, 5v2. A flash comes up and over to catch both of them on the roof. But is it going to be enough to really stop this push from coming through? Lumpy very distracted, and Cash is going to find the kill up through the center. Fitz now the lone defender on OBJ, and Entity are in for a rude awakening here on map number 1, Luke. This is looking like another Marsoc round into the hands of Blackwatch. And again, not a single death, at least not yet. Fitz is looking for something here, as I think they've run out of ammo, or the shotgun they've got on their back is not what they're looking to utilize right now. Unsure what the plan is here, but Fitz is definitely caught in a tough spot.
Yeah, I mean, every angle is being watched. He's barely squeaking away, but no, now he's pushing through that smoke. But well.
Wow, that is, I mean, they had 5 alive. They committed to it, and that, for that to come through, again, at this sort of skill level is very impressive. You know, I think the real indicator here, the real thing to say right now is that Blackwatch on their map pick just performed very well. Their coordination on point, their comms on point, very active, you know, and that's one of the key things of a top level team. Not to say that Entity aren't communicating either, but I just stopped into a couple of those moments where Blackwatch were radioing in kill counts or radioing in a rotation call, and having those kind of comms is crucial if you want to become a top tier Onward team. And so perfect example of what it nets you, a 5v1 that results in a cap. And that's what you really should be doing in those times. You should be sending everyone onto objectives, smoking it out, trying to draw the attention of Fitz, which is what Cash was doing. And so really another well-executed play as well by the likes of Blackwatch as they lock in that map number 1. And I always like being right to my predictions on us sticking to a bit of range. We go to Snow Peak for map number 2.
Yeah, I mean, we looked at Quarantine. We talked about the long angles, the slow, methodical gameplay. We certainly saw that from Blackwatch, But I mean, now it's new. Now it's a new day for both these teams. I mean, what are you expecting to see coming into Snow Peak, and how does the strategy change in terms of high level? How are you thinking about this map, especially after a punishing loss at your entity?
Yeah, it's well, there's a few things obviously about Snow Peak. The range is here, and it seems to be the reason that I would presume Black Entity have chosen into it. Quarantine does present its share of range, but is more medium, and depending on how you push, can definitely result in a lot of medium to close quarters fights. I think we saw some good range picks come in there, but no one, I don't believe, there were a few snipers as well. Regardless, though, Quarantine went well for Blackwatch. Entity says, well, let's get some range, but also some potential close quarters. There are 2 objectives on this map that are, in some cases, the closest quarters objectives on any map. The Box of Death and the tunnels. They both present just an incredibly different style of objective than the other ones that are positioned outside here near the lake and out in the snow. So it's an interesting pick. I really have come to like Snow Peak a lot over the course of these seasons, and it's again fun because of the variety. I just love the variety. I love the having to adapt and adjust your strategies, and Onward just excels at that. And so yeah, Snow Peak, Entity's choice, as they are the away team. They get to pick map 2. And yeah, looking for something here is what they're doing. And I'm looking at the rosters. Is that a sub coming in? Was Jacobo in on Quarantine?
No, that is a different player coming from Entity. So
I mean,
maybe that was the person they was hoping to have round 1, and they needed to pull in.
True.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Your name started with an H, but I don't remember your name.
There's so much. We have to track the active roster here. I get
but there was somebody there that started with an H. Much love to you. I think if it was an H, then oh gosh.
Hangman.
But,
you're right.
Yes,
Hangman
there you
was
go.
there.
So
Hangman.
Maybe Hangman just coming in last minute. Again, taking advantage of that full roster, taking advantage of everything. But I mean, there's no more time for planning, no more time for taking advantage, because we are going into the action in this map number 2, round 1.
Yes, indeed. Blackwatch. Some I don't know what the screaming was, but I presume motivational, as they're coming off a solid map 1 W, probably feeling amped up about locking that one, especially on stream. It's always good to perform well in front of an audience, and so well done for map 1. But to your point, Luke, we are nowhere near out of the woods for this series yet. We still have 2 more maps to get played out, and we've just begun our second one, which again is Entity's choice. So we may see a shift in the score line, so to speak, a shift in the kill feed if Entity can excel on their map choice. And I'm just kind of taking a look at the overall spread. Look at your overhead there. They've got 2 sat over on that far west side by the lake. That is maybe a 4-minute commit, a 3:30-minute commitment. They won't be moving until the other 2 shift all the way over to the east, set themselves up, and start firing down into objective. That's the idea then, is to draw the attention of the 3 Blackwatch defenders who are also looking into the lake. Then the flank commits, and it's all about timing and executing on that timing. And so we'll see if Entity try and, well, can execute on the timing here, as we still have a bit longer before I believe they'll try and kick off their play, as everyone does still rotate. And there's plenty of time, 4.5 left on the clock.
Yeah, and we spoke about this at the beginning of this cast. We spoke about the efficacy and communication of teams making or breaking team dynamics and rounds. And this is it. I mean, you say it. This map's all about timing. And I agree. I mean, and this is the perfect example. If they can pull off this timing, if they can get the play right,
Once you guys
picture perfect on stream,
Yeah.
on venues, new audiences. This is what you want to do. If they mess it up, well, still, it's the ideal that you can strive for.
Yes.
But, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, this is great. You know, you get to see the real strategy of this game coming through here. I mean, it's not just about, you know, shooting people. It's the strategy of Onward. It's about moving through. And yeah, it's you know, you learn about a bunch of stuff. But we're actually finding some shots already as a Cash Crazy tries to find that long angle. I'm not going to quite connect, though. But note now, thinks he can see somebody in the distance, as he is maybe trying to get that attention away, as you talked about.
Yeah, those 3 defenders are still eyes on over to the lake. The northeast have not drawn the attention enough. We actually are getting a rotation pump up into the center from Valor Magnus. They're almost going in between these 2 defenders, as Welch is slowly going to be in their line of sight if they pop up, but they're staying crouched behind these Heskos, and so I think they're going to be able to avoid the detection. They actually may have just heard comms over there, though. And Valor may be hearing Welch communicating information here, so they're dialed in now over to that side.
Yeah, Valor taking a look for sure, and that's not what you want. I mean, you need to definitely be on your toes, but that also means you need to be quiet. As there are shots, though, on the other side. Cash Crazy trying to find the angle. But maybe just some suppressing fire here, as he is going to rotate. But lots of rotation games, but Jay Welch will find Valor some way, somehow, and Entity is still down forward, trying to go for one more as Welch, but no, not going to connect on that one. As man-oh-man, I mean, a strong start again here, but now note now trying to get those long shots. But Blackwatch still only up 1, 2 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, Gunrama able to make their way up a little bit farther in the lake. That Chaos did do a little bit. Welch catches Lumpy over in the northeast, and you're right, Blackwatch just continues to find their targets. Entity cannot catch a break in this series right now, as maybe Gunrama can catch the head of Jay Welch as they swing around here on the crates. Finally, a kill secured for Entity. Cash Crazy gets rid of Jacob up over the top, and now Gunrama is alone on the lake. He has one behind him in the center of the map, and it's Fitz, who is also hunting for any sort of angle they can find over into this defense. Cash Crazy, I think, spots the rotation from Fitz, and we saw the laser just go over the top of Fitz's head.
Yeah, but I mean, as much as you can talk about numbers advantages or disadvantages in certain positions, what you have to talk about is the trade for trade from Blackwatch. Sure, great, unfortunate. You know, Jay Welch went down. He got 2.
Yeah, right.
And,
Definitely.
And right after, he got, you know, his team traded for him. So they still have the 2-player advantage, and that's not changing right here.
Oh, Fitz challenging Cash Crazy there, and Cash finds the kill. In the meantime, Gun has pushed up, and time has ticked down. 40 seconds left. There's an interesting route here that Gun actually has available to him because of the defensive setup. If he can kill Cash Crazy here, flash coming up and over, he can push over to the back of Nomad and potentially be a threat if the rest of the team doesn't reinforce. Gunrama can be a danger on this backside. 20 seconds left. Nomad is here, and Gunrama tucks in Tablet out. Is Nomad going to swing around and catch this? They have to. Yes, they do. I love the play, but that's a real attempt there. Entity, oh man, if they had just a little bit of a diversion and synced up that push, imagine what could have happened there. That could have been a huge start on their map pick, but Blackwatch find the kills and continue to ride a wave of momentum. 5 to 1 on map 1, 1-0 here on map 2. A good start.
Yeah, only 2 deaths to their name as well that round, but certainly a phenomenal start. I mean, Blackwatch is just keeping up that momentum. They want to keep that gravy train rolling because, man, oh man, but that being said, we do have to shout out that play from Gunrama. I mean, absolutely incredible, but
Yeah, no kidding.
it came down to what you said, the coordination.
Yep.
And
Right.
Unfortunately, Entity couldn't find it.
Yeah, they were. The trouble is that play also has its risks, right? Trying to draw attention draws attention, and that can get you killed. And
Yeah.
we saw that the 2 that were over on that northeast, I don't really think drew attention particularly. And then as they tried to also sneak in from the northeast, that defense was just set up and waiting, and so they got their picks, clipped the wings, so to speak, of that attack, and Entity find themselves in a bit of a tough spot. But still a better round than their previous ones there on Quarantine. For their map pick, that attack, definitely a plan there in place, but execution, one of the hardest things to do in Onward, and they just couldn't quite string together the execution on that attack. We'll see if Blackwatch can as we get back into the action. They're looking to put up a 7th unanswered point.
Behind the box, you might have.
They
had
It's
are.
been-
However, last
Yes.
game, round 1 was won by the defenders.
Yes.
And
You want to
the
get
following
superstitious?
Five rounds, 5 points rather,
Yeah.
was won by
math.
Blackwatch. So maybe the script has flipped, and maybe Entity is going to take 5 points of their own, while Blackwatch sits in silence. But that's just my hot take there. As we are
Do you have
going to this next.
do you have
round,
lucky caster underwear that you put on for every cast too?
Oh, you know it. You know it. Yeah, it has Onward's logo on the left and Volk's logo on the right. You know it. But man, oh man. I mean, we talk about timing being the number one kind of intention of the attack the defense. The attack of Entity,
you're right.
right?
Yeah.
What are you seeing here? Is it still that slow, methodical timing play, or
Yeah.
what do you think this play from Blackwatch is really going to hinge on?
I don't know how slow it will be, but it is looking like a similar play. They're going to send 2 over to that far lake side in the northwest. As you see in the overhead there, they're slowly rotating. And they have 2 set up in the northeast. Those 2 sat there. They did not advance any far forward. They're waiting basically out of spawn for the rest of the offense to get set up and for maybe the time to be right. They may let the time tick down a little bit. And as I say that, here comes some shots, the distracting shots from Brandon up on the top. They're going to have more from the northeast, I would presume. And they also imagine that the push is going to be starting here off of some of these shots, but maybe Brandon's just trying to draw out any rotations, any picks. I'm not sure what the timing is like for Blackwatch as everyone slowly works their way forward. Welch looking for anything and not finding much here does give information. Blackwatch now know, hey, this side's clear and free.
-1.
Oh, an interesting pickup,
Yeah, just
though.
like
Still got another one there.
yeah, Entity does get the
Like
down.
the center
Not
area,
out
not
just
moved.
yet, but I mean that's the first time Entity has got momentum. And maybe that's really sad, but it's true. It's the first time that they got what's the first mover's advantage? There's a word for that. They got
First blood.
first blood, but not really. There's a different word. I'll find it eventually in my head. But nevertheless, I mean, some shots here from Jacobo trying to find some angle on the far side of the lake, but not quite connecting. But that does mean that they know where he's holed up.
Right.
Jacobo's still going for those long angles. No one's peeking, understandably so. That's what we expect to see, that disciplined play. As we again just go for those rotations, but Jay Welch is the one to watch because he gets down and out. Fits, and just like that, even though Blackwatch has one down, they still technically have the player advantage.
Yeah, nice pickup there from Welch to even the odds a bit. They may also end up rotating around for the res. Maybe
Yeah,
Brandon
they got me pinned.
will swing around and get it.
Bro, you can rotate back. I mean, I just came off. That smoke's gone.
And now Nomad and Noto now are kind of stuck here. They have to wait for the rest of the team to support because they definitely have some lasers dialed in to this hilltop here. And maybe they are going to get that support as well, which gets rid of another defender. Valor going down inside objective.
Yeah, I mean, great job from Welch. Welch, 4 kills to his name so far this map. And, man, he's just finding all the patience. We've seen that all day as the revive does come through. I was hoping it would, and that means it's a 5v3, so Black Watch. They are certainly the team to watch because they are moving very patiently, but Jacobo gets a pick of his own, and Note now is down, and so that's a 3v4, and Entity has a heck of a chance here with 2 minutes left, but this play ain't over yet, as we do have Welch waiting in the wings. Where is he going to rotate? Where is he going to go? He's just playing it slowly. He's about to throw a nade. It is a smoke. So maybe trying to bait out some defense, maybe trying to bait out some eyeballs. Not quite sure right now, but the one to watch is Welch, because Welch is trying to see maybe if someone peeks from there. Not quite sure, but everyone on Entity's side is just playing patient, is playing it slow, because at the end of the day, they can let the time tick down. It's the advantage of Blackwatch to move. And Entity, I mean, they did win the 4v5 round 1, map 1. They can certainly win the 3v4 here.
Yes, they can, especially with a little assist up over the top. Nomad downing a friendly, and Gunrama positioned high up on this hill still is an interesting late game position. Oftentimes players will rotate off of this hill once they kind of don't find the kills they're looking for, and almost gets those shots secured onto Nomad down in the lake. Can't quite get him, and now the trouble is that their position is known, and Jacobo doesn't have the cover.
And Brandon does down Gunrama, and Gunrama does down Brandon. What a flick. As, well, Jacobo will finish him off. So it can potentially be an advantage here, or rather a 3v3 here, a neutral from Black Watch, but with 20 seconds left, the revive does come through, understandably so. So the attacking side, Black Watch, they need to move. They need to move right now. Gunrama repositioning because it's going to be Lumpy getting down by Nomad. Nomad's pushing in that wall. Will he find it? No, Tablet's out. He's there. He's getting pressured. Cash Crazy gets 2, and just like that, it's 2-0. Black Watch. Oh my goodness, they're insane.
They almost tied it up. They really did. I mean, Entity just had 6 more seconds to go, and it's their round. Really like 3 or 4 seconds to go, and it's their round. And the one key defender on the back falls apart. It doesn't kill Nomad. That kill has to get secured onto Nomad, because then the other 2 defenders don't have to panic rush to cover the back for a potential cap, because that could have been 3-0. Yeah. There was enough time to punch in that code and lock it in. They're fortunate, really, that it is just a point for Blackwatch, and it is 2-0 right now. So, yeah, I think what I'm seeing, at least, is the range plays into the hand of Blackwatch a little bit better, at least in this series. Blackwatch has been executing very well on their range plays. They've been finding those early picks, to the point Entity did finally get an early pick here to start that round, but I think it was pretty quickly evened back into a 3-2, you know, and so it's just I don't know what the solution is on the defense, maybe to be a little bit tighter, you know, really try and limit your exposure, play a very disciplined late angle defense, and don't even go for early picks. But Blackwatch have been demonstrating that they can also execute on their plays. They can come together in those final seconds, like we just saw here, and snag around nearly a cap. So I think, I don't know. Again, Blackwatch just have to play a very tight D here. They're not getting the objectives they want either. That's another thing that I wanted to bring up. You know, with this map, there are, like I said, long range and close quarter objectives. This is another long range objective, at least depending on how the defense set up. You can create a kill box within just the objective area. I don't think I've ever seen it done. I don't really know why. Maybe because it's also a very vulnerable objective, several different angles you can cap on, a lot of cover. But the real meta is to spread out and set up for aggressive angles, and we are seeing Nomad committing to an aggressive rotation up here on defense. They could be, well, in store for a couple of kills if they continue to commit to this aggression.
Yeah, I mean, Valor showing where they're at, and I mean, that's what you do. That's the biggest loss is Cash Crazy finds fits, and Blackwatch trades. So just like that, they're still 1-1 as Nomad does get down as well, gets caught off guard. Certainly not expecting him to rotate that way. So, I mean, it's a trade. Blackwatch 4-4. They are on defense, so they still technically do have the advantage. But, I mean, a very mobile offense here we've seen from Valor and Jacobo picking up one this round between the two of them. However, you know, it seems they are slowing down the pace a bit, but not so much on Cash Crazy. Cash Crazy just going for the long-range pressing fire. Can he find that angle? Well, he finds the angle, but smokes come through, and there's no way.
I think Cash was shooting up over the lake side, but now very aware of the threat that is present with Valor Magnus. The entire offense over here swinging on from the south, and it is a fast push. 4:30 left on the clock, and Jacobo and the rest of Entity are very close to objective, forcing rotations out of Blackwatch to try and counter this aggression.
Yeah, really great job from them. Brandon countering Valor, though, as it is a 3v2 for Blackwatch, but Entity certainly changing the pace of this game. We saw the slow, methodical, waiting gameplay, but they are tired. The flash is over. Jacobo gets the smoke. He's hiding on the wall. Brandon sees him, though, but they trade. And just like, actually, they don't trade. Well, they do trade effectively. Jay Welch covering his back, but it's a 2v1. And, well, this round's done. This round's over. It's 3 in a row. That's 8 points now for Blackwatch as they have another amazing round. Wow. That was quick. That was like, what, 2 minutes?
Yeah, Entity definitely going for that aggressive sort of play. You could, even that sort of attack feels like... It's weird because it's not like they didn't have close quarters maps to choose from. You know, if they really did want a close quarters map, they could have had it. You know, they could have had a Cargo or even a Shipyard is closer than Snow Peak. But, you know, the range just keeps getting them. And Blackwatch are feeling confident now. You know, that commitment with the aggressive play from Nomad is very risky. Again, to send one out so early like that can end up hurting you severely. And they're fortunate that it is sort of a one-for-one trade to start that round, so they have that 4-4. But, yeah, a very good attack there.
Yeah.
That gets kind of foiled by great rotations. I mean, Blackwatch just holding on right when they need to, swinging back to the objective, getting those kills, the flash up and over. That's a 2-for-1. Like we talk about, you know, if you can trade your life for 2 kit for 2, that's a positive. That's a net win, you know, and
yeah,
that's how you chip away at a disadvantage that was very clearly present there as Entity were looking for a good south push and just couldn't quite finalize it when they got near the objective. And what could be the final round of Map 2 kicks off as Entity go on the defense. And, you know, again, my words for their defense are to stay tight and not really look for those early peaks. Blackwatch had the luxury as they have the lead. They can kind of commit to those early sort of risky plays, but Entity really should try and stay disciplined here and hold some tight angles. We'll see exactly what the plan is as Valor peeks up and over and hunts out the gate for any kills up over the lake, but the spawn is the same as Entity's, and it's going to be a heavy south push for this Blackwatch squad.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this strategy done, and well, let's see if they can get it done and get the W here, because I mean, oh my goodness, Entity is just looking for a sign of life. They're just looking for a grasp. I mean, that last round especially was very close. But very close is not a win, and that's not how you want to start, because Note now finds Valor just hanging about and on the lake bed, or looking over the lake bed on Overwatch, as, well, again, an advantage early on from Blackwatch, and Blackwatch having that 5v4, as we do have the rotations coming through from Blackwatch. They're just sprinting over because, well, suddenly they know where players are. And Jacobo is really one to watch here, but Nomad finds hits on the long range. Smoke coming in, it looks like another faster pace play. We're in the first 2 rounds, though. Jacobo finds Nomad, so he is getting some trades for his teammates, but can he watch behind him? He's going to get flanked by Brandon, and Brandon does get him just like that. Oh my. Brandon keeping his head on a swivel for sure, because they're riding a high, because Brandon is moving in on the attack, and there's only 2 players back with lots of smokes coming through, as Lumpy and Gunrama are watching both angles, so they could potentially get this, but Gunrama, no one's coming his way. Lumpy is the one to watch. He gets Brandon, and it's a 3v2. 1 more crosses. He gets 1 more. He's only down, though. Lumpy going for the flash. Goes for the smoke. Can he get the nade, though? I think it's a nade. Don't kill him. Okay, there you go. There you go. Got him. As it is going to be on site. Lumpy, does he see Welch? This is, if Welch gets through, there could be a cap.
There's also Gunrama, and we're into a 2v2. To your point, if Welch does get through on the back, it's going to be bad news for this defense, and nobody is really watching those entry points from the back. They are dangerous. Oh. And Welch finds the kill. Now Gun has to split their attention 2 ways. Look for a target that they don't know where they are up on the top, and they are not going to find it. Cash going to find the kill and lock in map 2 4-0. Blackwatch have played these last 2 maps fantastically. I mean, just textbook Onward, really. You know, the standard meta attacks that they're executing on are great. They're also finding very early kills, which is an indicator of just good shooting. You know, that's a skill set that we don't talk about a lot, but you know, it's not an FP. You're not sitting on your mouth. You know, it's an aiming with your hands. It is really a skill set to hit your shots, and I just think Blackwatch were hitting their shots very well early on, getting those early advantages, and you know, I think it's a problem that can be solved. You know, Entity can come back and look at this footage and actually learn quite a bit about what was hurting them, what was impacting them, where they need to improve. They can see that some of the rotations that they were looking for ended up getting punished, and you know, figure out, okay, in the future I can rotate this way. You know, a lot of teams have plans. Okay, if we lose that defender, we're going to shift our whole defense 2 over. You know, if we lose this defender, we're going to shift the defense this way. They're ready to be sort of whittled down, and you know, of course, how much do you want to commit? You know, how much time and energy do you want to put in? Do you want to try and hone in all that work? It is a lot to really become the best of the best, and I love to see teams pursue it. You know, teams really go after becoming a very good Onward team. It's just a fun journey to watch. And Blackwatch here, you know, coming in season 10, season 12 could be their season. They are starting off very strong, and they're definitely going to have to be a team that we keep an eye on, as it does look like we are going to be going to a custom map, and so I'm going to put my prediction out before we go to the lobby on that custom map.
Let's hear it. Where are we going?
I think it's going to be Shipyard. I think we're going to stick to a little bit of range. I doubt we go to USS Celeste for the close quarters, so I'm going to throw out the Shipyard prediction, and we're going to have to deal with some technical resets here on our side as we quickly pop in to that fresh lobby. And hey, I was right. Look at that. 2 for. I didn't guess Quarantine, but I got Snow Peak and Shipyard. So, yeah, there it is. A not surprising pick. Again, looking at these bands, I anticipated it to be a long-range sort of battle, and we got Quarantine, we got Snow Peak, and Shipyard is another mix. You know, it's a lot like Quarantine in that it has its long-range angles, it has its early peak spots that you can find, it has, you know, the height that you can hunt for where you can really look down onto your targets, but it also does have the very close quarters, almost a cargo-like Shipyard where you have to work through. And so it's, again, a great variety map. And depending on where we go with the objectives, what kind of spawns we get on attack, it is going to be an interesting map number 3. But you know, I don't even know what the solution right now is for Entity. I do think it's to play a little bit slower. I think maybe they're trying to go too quick at this series, and that is getting punished by the likes of Blackwatch, because it's the early picks that are really hurting them the most. And I mean, you said it best in Snowpeak. I think they got a 4-5 lead at the start of round 2, and that was the first time all game that they had got a kill advantage. You know, it had seemed like every single round they're into a 4v5, whether they started it with it or get killed down into it. And so maybe almost a omen, so to speak, at the start of their series when they started 4-5, but maybe a little bit tighter of gameplay will be the solution here on Entity. Taking a look at the rosters for Shipyard, I don't see any subs coming in on Blackwatch. Yeah, usually, you know, one thing I do like to say here for moments like for a team like Blackwatch, this is a great time to train your other subs. You know, to get that rest of your roster tuned up, to get them into a live game that has that pressure, and have them play with your squad so that you can hone in on that communication. And when it really matters, you know, who knows, when it's the finals and you're at the top and you need a 5th, you've got them ready to go, and they're not shaking in their boots, so to speak. So isn't happening here. They're sticking with their 5. They really want to hone in the craft, which I also can respect. It's early in the season. But yeah, it's map number 3. We always play it out. Even if the series has been decided, the points won matter. So Entity do want to come into map 3 and try and put up a good battle to secure this map, so that they can at very least come out with a little less damage to their MMR, because they are definitely going to be going down in MMR right now off of those first 2 rough maps from against Blackwatch.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not what they wanted, but it's what they got. So, you know, I mean, let's see if they can kind of fix their MMR issue by, you know, winning some rounds. I certainly believe in them. I think it's possible. The question is, do they? Because, of course, that mental game is so important. But we are going very much into this tactical game again. I mean, early days, still lots of positioning, but Nomad is starting strong, and Blackwatch is doing what Blackwatch does best, which is getting the numbers advantage. But Jay Welch is looking for an opportunity again. Valor not too far away, trying to peek through. But the angle back, Valor's going to go for the peek, trying to catch Jay Welch off guard, but he's behind the truck, can't be seen. Valor, though, finds Jay Welch. There we go. So now we're trading blow for blow. So that is what Entity needs to do all game. In fact, they need to take the first move. They need to get there first. But the question is...
Oh, Gunrama had
No way.
Brandon, but Brandon dips out and continues to rotate. Gun checks the tablet to make sure that that's a enemy. Valor catches another up on the roof. This could be a great start for Entity as their aggression is picking apart the Blackwatch offense on Shipyard. And I was going to say that it's surprising to see them commit to the aggression again, but they are they're sticking to what they are going for and able to execute there. Now into a great spot as round 1 is not looking too hot for Blackwatch.
Yeah, it's certainly not. As I mean, there is just a down player from Blackwatch that can get the revive. But nevertheless,
well, can they?
do have no down. Rotating through is Gunrama, who gets 2! Oh my goodness, Gunrama popping off, and Entity really do feel hungry for the MMR, but the team kill! No! No! Uh-oh, Blackwatch. It doesn't matter. Okay, Nomad not pulling through on that one, so will be Entity taking a 9 in a row streak from Blackwatch and taking 1 for themselves.
Wow. It took a little time, but they managed to do it finally here on map number 3. Shipyard, you know, interestingly enough, Blackwatch's map pick, they decided to go into this map here. And I don't think that Blackwatch was expecting aggression. You know, I think they're expecting a sad Entity team. You know, it's hard to play and stay focused after losing 9 rounds in a row. you know, and I love to see Entity just continuing to stick to what they're trying to do and play that aggression, and it does pay off finally there with a round up.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, and yeah, it took a while. But who cares? They got the W. You know, we said this last time. You said that someone joked about it previously in game. I mean, a win is a win is a win.
Yeah.
Right? One round is a victory, and one round at a time, you know, leads to many victories, leads to the end of the game. So, you know what? Yeah, they're not going to win in terms of points, in terms of, you know, the final score that you're going to see on this match page in a couple hours there. You know, again, if you are wondering what you're watching, this is VR Master League Onward. We'd love to have you, vrmasterleague.com/onward. You know, we do have a great time here if you want to get better. Or if you're already cracked, come join us. Have some fun. You know, this is map 3. You're not going to win the game, but you very well can win the map. And Entity definitely starting out how they need to.
Come on, guys.
Absolutely. Blackwatch now, their first time having to come back from a round loss. We'll see how they do. They seem pretty lighthearted, joking around, laughing as we dive back into the action. We'll see if they commit to a similar aggressive style of defense, or if they'll even be able to, as this offense is flying in here. Noto nearly catches one Lumpy on the trade.
Wow.
Another trade up over the top on the back, and we're not a trade, but a down. And we are into a 3v4 within the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, we are. I mean, wow, so many down and out. As Entity still can make it a 4v4, but there's the down and out from Jay Welch on Fitz.
I've got 2 down.
So, I mean, Entity
down,
started
center,
round 1
bottom,
strong,
floor.
but maybe we called it too early because, I mean, Jay Welch is the one to watch. He's just on the ground, right?
It's unfortunate. They could have swung in and got that res onto Lumpy, and so it really could have been a nice 4v3 now as Valor scoops up one off the backside. Jacobo aware of Brandon, but not sure where they are. Underneath the ramp is definitely a not an unknown position, but an interesting one, and Brandon feels a little bit concerned sticking with that spot. Going to be rotating back towards Lumpy and maybe confirming the kill as well, which is going to eliminate the option for a res, which I think Entity are rotating for right now.
Yeah, but Brandon's waiting for, again, we've seen this all day from Blackwatch, the patient game. Valor's going to walk into his crosshairs right now. Are you ready to see it? Well, here you go. There it is. And he gets 2 for his efforts. What a great patient play, making sure that they both are down. And Blackwatch plays that patient game, and, well, they're up 3-1 in terms of numbers advantage, but this game is far from over. Still 4 minutes left on the clock. As Jaco's on the ceiling, trying to go for the dive in, but no one's home. As well, 1-1, map 3.
I don't know what the intended play was. It looked to me like they were just going to James Bond, you know, dive their way off that third story roof, land through the glass and go into that room unscathed. I don't know what they expected to happen there, but obvious death to fall damage as he falls, takes the damage, doesn't bother to heal, falls again, takes more damage and dies. A very interesting choice, but one that does cost their life and is now a lesson learned. They know they cannot be jumping off of even a story without taking a little bit of damage, and a funny way to go down. Not the most funny I've seen though. Just the other day there was a flash on USS Quest on a final attacker, and the attacker got blinded and ran off the edge of the ship and died, and the round ended. It's probably the best death I've ever seen. It was a great one. I'm sure it's clipped somewhere. You can go find it, but yeah, it was the first death by flash I think I've ever seen in league play. So not bad, but interesting to say the least. And Blackwatch go on the attack, and Entity back on defense.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some really dominant gameplay from them, but you know what? This game's not over. Neither team is out just yet. but it could be a 3-1. But it is going to be Gunrama picking his way through a huge aggression, but knows where to watch. The Gunrama is rotating the other way through. So Entity going for this early aggression that worked for them in round 1 on map 3. But it is going to be many players rotating through Lumpy. That's crazy. Trying to find it, but Brandon finds it instead. Finding Fitz down. And Blackwatch again has the initiative. That's what I was looking for a couple maps ago. By taking that round first, but not looking behind him, and just like that, it's 4-4 players numbers as Valor does catch up. But Note Now is right there. Downs and outs. Gunrama. Rama, though, gets him right back. So still 3-3 trading blow for blow. That's a good news as far as I'm concerned if you are an Entity fan. But this round still has just about 5 minutes left.
Yeah, and an interesting play from Entity. They all committed to that aggression and pushed out, looking for early picks. And once they found a few and started to get kind of chipped away, they all rotate back to the objective, and they all kind of ended up converging back onto the objective at the same time. Lumpy doesn't want to stick around for too long, though, and has pushed up a little bit too far. Cash hears those comms for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he can still get in unless catch fires, but he very much should. Yes, easy done. As, well, that's the 3v2. But Valor's also rotating. I mean, I would have loved to see this, like, very disciplined Valor Entity play, but Valor, I mean, gets Nomad for his efforts as Catch Crazy is rotating around him. It's a game of peekaboo. Who is going to find who? But Valor taking a hand out of Blackwatch's book and playing that patient game. The question is, who is going to be more patient? Well, it will be Valor, as Cash Crazy maybe looks for the Free Fire, but goes for the off angle. But unfortunately, Valor did move. It's just dynamic movement. As Valor is hiding, it's a game of hide and seek with everything on the line. As well, Cash Crazy's down, but you can't keep out Valor, who does get it, and just like that, it's a 2v1. But I mean, they're on the objective, and well, where is he? Where is he? He's on the far side. Welch. What can you do?
Yeah, there's our options. The 1v2 not insurmountable. The real, I mean, all Entity need to really do is just, post up. Valor continuing to rotate is a little bit of a risk. Welch has 3 minutes left, and so they can kind of take their time, look for any of these sort of rotations, and try and get a pick to turn this into a 1v1. I don't think they're going to go for the cap yet, but they could also go for that, considering how far Valor is off objective. There's opportunities to work up to the OBJ and cap it, but yeah, there's the rotation getting punished as Welch finds the kill. Valor goes down, and now Jacobo comes out looking for the pick and can't get it. Blackwatch take a round off of a double.
Wow. What? Welch, you're cracked, dude. Teach me how to play. Oh my goodness. I mean, absolute. I feel like I've been saying it all game. Just disciplined gameplay.
Yeah,
as much as it's great, to see the back and forth and the running around the crates, it's kind of funny. It's enjoyable to watch. But Welch is showing his tactical mind.
Yeah.
He rotates, has an angle to kind of see who he can catch off, and well, he got them both off.
Yeah.
Just out thinking and out rotating his opponents. So I mean, wow, just absolute textbook.
Really good patient play. Utilizing that time is key. They could have pushed up to the objective ramp, put themselves in a position where the rotation actually pays off from the likes of Valor, and they have an angle down onto them, but patience is a virtue, and waiting for that rotation to get that pick, chip down away at that 2v1, and then eventually Jacobo looking for that final kill. Just a solid clutch from Welch as Entity now go back onto the attack as we go into round number 4 of map 3. Blackwatch are looking to get all 3 maps here in this series.
Yeah, they are, and I mean, it's certainly possible. You certainly don't want it to happen, but I mean, Blackwatch starting off strong, finding Lumpy is cash crazy, and well, that dude's insane. I mean, Blackwatch is playing the discipline game, definitely hearing Fitz on the ceiling here. Fitz is wanting to check it out, but Welch, just the chemistry, the teamwork, the collaboration, they have it all. Blackwatch already 2 down on Entity, or sorry, 2 up on Entity. As, I mean, the Overwatch is trying to find, Note Now, is trying to find an angle on anybody, but no one's there, as Note Now does find Gunrama, though, on the rotation, and, well, 5-2 player advantage for Blackwatch, as Note Now is happily playing this Overwatch, picking off 2 in this round alone. As, I mean, maybe the rotation comes through, but he's just going to go for the peak. I mean, he's feeling strong. He's feeling good. But maybe backing out is the play here. That's what I would do. As we are going to see Nomad push up, trying to find an angle here on anybody. But we do have Entity attacking. Don't forget, Entity is the one who has to move, but Cash Crazy can catch off Valor. He might hear the drop. Yes, he did. He's looking down, but he's in the house. He's in the building. Jacobo and Cat is trying to catch off Cash Crazy as well, perhaps. But Cash Crazy, I mean, he could get it if he goes down the stairs hypothetically, but Valor's moving in, and Jacobo is also just around the corner. Cash Crazy probably hearing all this, maybe hearing comms. I have comms muted, so I don't hear comms, but I'm sure you folks do. As Cash Crazy, I mean, just so close, and likewise, Jacobo can hear Cash Crazy up there on the roof. As, I mean, just a patient game. Just a patient game from Blackwatch. Cash Crazy is not going for any crazy plays. Just paying the waiting game.
Yeah, he's, like you said, heard that drop down. And you think he's kind of psyched out about it now. He's wondering what the heck's going on. Where is this player that I heard? Valor dropped down, went inside, and then took the tunnel to rotate back to spawn. They're going to try and get up onto this second story and get rid of Cash that they heard up above them. It's a very interesting rotation. And to Cash's credit, they seem to be blocking from this potential threat as they are rotating frequently and often. Valor misses those shots and now has to re-peek a dangerous angle that Cash has a line on. Valor wins the fight.
That's a big impact kill right there from Valor. I mean, double checking, that is a down. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's an out.
Yeah.
That is a kill. So, I mean, man, oh man. I mean, Valor, the long rotation taking up a whole minute. Certainly worth its effort as he is able to quickly get past Nomad. But, well, Nomad saw him enough.
Scratch one,
and
spawn.
gets the guaranteed 4-1, and 2-1 is the score in this round 4. Look, I did math too. As Jacobo, not too far away, but everyone's home as he is front cap. Tries to catch off, but that's it. 3-1 Blackwatch. Wow. Watch how it's...
Yeah, they are playing very well. They are playing against they're playing well against the opponent too, you know. They've adjusted their strategy to commit to that kind of aggression where they can look for these sort of picks because they are paying off. And it has its risks, you know. There was a moment there where Jacobo was really into a 1v2 on the ship. If they committed to an aggressive sort of push up through the center, got 2 kills, the objective was completely unguarded. There was nobody anywhere near that could have potentially even seen a cap. And so, you know, the defensive setup definitely does come with its share of risks. Entity just can't sync up enough to sort of punch through this Blackwatch wall, and they may be down to just 4 for this final, well, what could be final round. Hopefully not. Hopefully they're just going to be bringing in, like I said, maybe a sub to sort of practice, get them a potential round or 2, try and shift something up in the roster. Maybe it's just a technical difficulty, and we will see a reconnect come in from that 5th. But either way, yeah, Blackwatch are playing a mean series here today. It really is just their coordination, like you were saying, and their overall skill as a team. You know, they're playing very good here today, and I'm very curious to watch this team battle it out against other top squads in the league. You know, teams that can give Blackwatch a run for their money. I don't even know, again, what that top 10 looks like now or will look like next week. But I'm very excited to be catching games for week 4 because that's really when you start to get into the much closer series. You don't have nearly as many games like we've tuned into where there has been a one-sided scoreline. You start to get those more frequent map 3 deciders. And yeah, we've had a few already, so I can't really complain. But yeah, it's week 4, week 5, week 6, all of it. I mean, the rest of the season going to be incredibly exciting to see what teams come out on top. I really don't know. Is there going to be a new season 12 team that proves to be a challenging team up in the Diamond roster? I certainly hope to see it, and I've seen some interesting prospects already, so we'll see. You know, there is a lot of hype around season 12. The community is growing. More and more teams are joining. More and more people are getting involved in the league. And, you know, one thing I love to see, too, is we're starting to see kind of these franchises almost. You know, it's happened before with some teams where they have got a Pavlov team, an Onward team, and an Echo team. But we're seeing some of these Echo teams creating Onward teams, getting their toes wet in the Onward scene, kind of seeing what it's like. I've managed to pop into a few games. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't even know they were Echo players until later, or they had played in the Echo League until later. They're Onward players when they play in the league here. But yeah, it's been great to tune into. And so, like I said, good time to get into the league. If you are new, you can pop into a team that's recruiting, but we still got action here, Luke, as we get into what could be map points for the likes of Blackwatch.
It certainly could be, but I mean, as I've been saying, I'm bullish. I mean, let's see it. Let's see it, and that's exactly what we needed to see. Jacobo finding note now, because the time is now for Entity to take the round, as there's a bunch of trades as the Cash Crazy gets lumpy, but just like that, it's a 3v3. Fitz getting a Brandon, Nomad getting Valor, a gun round getting Welch, and it's a 2v1.
Right.
Oh my goodness, what a blitz as a Nomad, the one to watch, because he can take it all in this round.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, map 3, round 5.
There's nobody near objective, and so Fitz and Gunrama, after their aggressive swing, are rotating back, trying to suss out where this final attacker could be. And we've seen clutches from the likes of Blackwatch in 1v2s already, so I'm not counting Nomad out by any means. They could certainly scoop up a rotating defender here from the likes of Entity, maybe even go for a cap attempt if they can get rid of Gunrama on objective.
Yeah,
which they'll do.
Behind Gunrama. And, wow, it's a 1v1. No way, Nomad. Nomad would be insane. That would mean 5 players on Blackwatch have 5 kills to their name. But Nomad, you have to prove it yet, as he is rotating around, playing that long rotation game. We saw that with Valor in the previous round, and it worked out in their favor. They didn't win the round, but he got the player advantage, at least for the short time, as Nomad is going for that long rotation, maybe trying to catch Fitz off the rotation, but steps are important. They know it's a 1v1, at least assumably, as Nomad is just going to long rotate, as the grenade kind of does give Fitz's location away.
Yeah, it's going to be a little time before Nomad puts something together here. I wonder what the plan is going to be based off of the rotation. I wonder if they'll take tunnels to get into that center building and then pop up and challenge. But Fitz is at a point now where, as the last defender, they kind of just have to hunt. You know, they have to actively rotate around the objective space, and that's what Fitz is trying to do, at least. Hunt around for this final attacker and get rid of them. Prevent them from being able to cap on the objective, which Nomad is nowhere near doing. They're all the way back at spawn looking for a pick from the roof.
Yeah, I mean, potentially hoping that, well, he's counter-stratting.
Oh my.
What this can't do, and he works! It works! He threw his gun in the air because he did it! No way! The clutch! Oh my goodness! The big brains from Black Watch take this game, take this map, and we have seen it game after game, map after map. They're insane. It's true. Wow, what a play. Black Watch pulls through Nomad. GG.
Yeah, a fantastic series from the likes of Black Watch here today up against Entity. Really just out teamworking them today here. You know, the coordination on point, syncing up on their plays, executing perfectly on them, playing aggressively when they know they could, and still finding success. It's a promising indicator for this Black Watch team as they move into week 4 next week. Definitely going to want to keep an eye on this squad to see what they're going to be doing in their coming matchups, because they are going to have some challenges coming up ahead of them if they continue to win like this. This is going to be a big boost to their MMR. 5-1 map 1, 4-0 map 2, and 4-1 on map 3. Quite the performance here today, Luke.
Oh my goodness, a masterclass, pun intended, from the master team, Black Watch, because man, oh man, I mean, that is beyond what I was expecting to see coming into this one. You know, Nightfire, we were talking about how, you know, this is top level. This is top level. This is what, you know, everyone aspires to be.
Yeah.
And everyone certainly aspires to be like Black Watch here today, because by no means is Entity a bad team. By no means, you know, are they a pushover? By no means. You know, they have experience. They have been together since, you know, for season 7, right? Yeah, I was pulling up the player page. Like, they have been around the block. But Black Watch, they came out on top. They pulled through. It doesn't matter, because all that happens in the arena is that means we have a rivalry on our hands. Sure, Entity won in season 10. They won in season 11. Black Watch won in season 12. That's right here, right now. So, man, oh, man, Black Watch, I'm excited to see what you can do in the rest of the season.
Shout out to everyone tuning in here today, whether it's been on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or venues. We do appreciate all of you dropping in. If you are new, please hit that follow button, but also go check out twitch.tv/onward_VRML and follow that channel as well. Other games are broadcast there throughout the week, sometimes on the weekend. We also have regularly scheduled weekend matches here, so tune in tomorrow at 12 p.m. PST for another matchup on this channel. Also on Facebook, YouTube, and venues. Also, a shout out to our sponsors. They help provide the prize pool that we have ultimately all of these players competing for. At the final end of the season, we take our top 8 teams, they duke it out in a tournament-style format, and the top 3 teams take chunks of the prize pool away. The prize pool is ever-growing and is coming from our sponsors, who include VRML, VRWare, Asterion, ProTube VR, HyperX, and our newest addition, Border Foods. If you want to learn more about the Border Foods sponsorship, you can go to borderfoods.com/VRML. It is a great partnership with one of the largest Taco Bell franchises in the Midwest. They offer fair working wages, scholarship opportunities, and career paths. So go check it out. See what this partnership means. It's a great indicator for the future of VR esports, Luke. It means we are branching out, securing more interest from more folks, and I am very hopeful for the future of VR esports as we continue to grow the VRML and really the entire VR esports ecosystem. So
100%.
Big shout out to those sponsors. With that, we'll be signing off here for the night. My name has been Nightfire with 2 E's. My co-caster Luke with a 1. Maybe is how I'll be introducing you from now on. As we sign off, thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, stay classy.